as we're coming closer to the solstice, it's really kind of important to kind of understand the nature behind it, because obviously, you know, um, we are in a time period where um, when the solstice arrives, it connects with the tropical of Cancer, which is obviously Sirius, the great star, and obviously the dog star. And basically, as we get closer to that, the mind is activated. Thos, Tehuti, you know, and he represents communication, scribing, higher mind in a sense, because obviously there's Sagittarius, which is the higher mind in astrology, but Gemini is the first connective energy of Thos, and obviously Tehuti or whatever describe, and so therefore means it deals with the mind. So really, what we're talking about here is soul mirrors, writing soul mirrors during this time, identifying and getting clearer in connection to the mind and connecting with the mind and the higher mind, in a sense where soul mirrors is about, you know, sitting down and categorizing all the negative and the positive traits in your mind. And that's the psychological aspect of concentrating yourself to bring clarity to who you are. And thus, by doing that, you can come into balance. And so that would be the sense of balance, because then you would master and start working with your emotion, which is at the beginning of the tropical of Cancer, which will kind of connect you with the dog star and Sirius, and obviously it will connect you not only with that, it will connect you with your emotions, because obviously the moon is governed by Sirius in a sense. Thos is a lunar deity which connects with the moon, and the moon connects with the Great Mother in a sense, because it's in relation to um, Sirius and Saturn. Saturn's annual term is 28 years, and for the moon is 28 days. And obviously, therefore, means there's a strong, very strong connection between those two. And in so many words, what it means is that the connectivity between those pools of vibration is that it basically allows you to tap into your emotions. And the deeper you get into your emotions, the clearer you can get about the vehicle of the mind. Now, the moon is the first aspect of the mind, and so therefore means if we identify who we are as moon signs, then we can basically get into who we and how we think. And so the soul mirrors is very, very powerful in kind of connecting with that aspect of the mind. Um, so I feel personally the best way to deal with it is actually to basically categorize them into a section of four elements. So then the fire element, you'll write anything that's related to making, you know, harshful decision, like being obstruct. So then obviously if you take action straight away with things without thinking, that could be an imbalancement of the fire element. Anger is a form of imbalancement of the fire element. It can also be constructive in its sense where you can utilize it to work. Let's say, for example, you wanted to put something into action, physical action, then you would write poetry, you get creative with it, because fire is an electric source. And you got the water element. The water element is anything that's stagnant, so anything that pulls you down, anything that's emotional, anything that relates to crying, that's the water element. Uh, and absorbing people's emotions, that's the water element. So you would write things of the positive and negative in relation to the water element. Um, I don't want to get into detail, but if you want me to get into a deeper detail, you can always visit the sun-set.com, and then within there, within what I do, I'm able to kind of go deeper into that aspect of things. If you're looking to change yourself in that respect, then you look at the earth element, and the earth element will kind of give you the aspect of grounding, how grounded you are, how rooted you are, how structured is your life. Do you have a balance? Do you have a structured life? Do you have a routine? Because everything in essence is governed by well, to master the first plane of planetary spheres, you first need to have a strong connection between the moon and the earth. And that is the water element and the earth element, because those two come into action when it comes to balancing yourself. Then you move on to the air element, which is obviously to do with thinking, and this brings me to the result of why I started talking about this video. Now, obviously, it's about balancing your thoughts. So basically, Gemini will get into the aspect of the mind which thinks before thinking. And so the best form of way to create, or to know what it is that is being created, is by looking at Gemini. Now, esoterically speaking, Gemini is governed by Venus, which is the form of creativity, and therefore means one can create and know what is created in the mind. Now, the aspect of the self, the relationship between the self, is that one should basically find the balance, as opposed to trying to eradicate anything from yourself. Because as you eradicate things, you add in more things. So let's say you stop having sugar, you're going to need a sugar supplement. Like, well, someone that stops sugar could have stevia, or someone that has sugar can have carbohydrates, which are complex, and therefore means it creates a balance. So that's one way of kind of balancing the emotion in the body. And by doing that, you're able to kind of connect with who you are physically, mentally, and spiritually. So you can categorize them into four elements, and that's one way to get into know yourself and deepen in your meditation practice. Also, thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening.